Have you heard the latest buzz sweeping through the global currency community? Something big is reportedly stirring behind closed doors, and it's not just about the Iraqi dinar anymore. Whispers are spreading fast about coordinated moves involving the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and even the Zimbabwean zim. Today on Iraqi Dinar News Today, we're diving into what's being called the contract rate window, a phrase that's suddenly lighting up private financial circles and online discussions worldwide. Is this real preparation for a major financial event, or just another wave of hopeful speculation? Stick with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll understand what's driving this surge of anticipation, and exactly what experts say you should do to be ready if these reports hold any weight. Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News Today, your trusted source for the latest insights, analysis, and reports on global currency movements. I'm glad you're here, because what's unfolding right now has the attention of seasoned analysts, cautious investors, and frankly, a lot of very curious people who have been following the dinar story for years. Let's break this down clearly, step by step, so you can make sense of what's really being said and what's actually important amid all the noise. The growing discussion over the past several weeks, there's been a noticeable shift in tone within online forums and private financial briefings. What was once quiet speculation has started to feel like organized preparation. Reports claim that certain advisory groups and analysts are circulating a detailed readiness checklist for anyone holding currencies like the dinar, dong, or zim. According to these reports, the emphasis has moved away from if something will happen and toward how to be ready when it does. At the heart of all this is a term that keeps resurfacing: the contract rate. For years, this phrase has hovered in the background, something between a rumor and a theory. But lately, the tone has changed. Some insiders describe it as a structured, selective exchange process that could offer premium rates higher than typical market values for individuals who meet very strict criteria. Now, to be clear, none of this has been confirmed publicly by any official institution. But what makes it interesting is how consistent these reports have become and how detailed the supposed requirements are. Preparation, not speculation. Analysts following this development insist that the difference between those who might benefit and those who might not comes down to one word: preparation. They're not talking about luck or insider access. They're talking about being organized, having every piece of documentation ready, verified, and backed up. The reported checklist being shared among advisory circles includes several key steps. 1. Valid identification, government-issued, current, and cross-verifiable. 2. Proof of legal purchase of currency, original receipts, bank statements, or notarized affidavits if originals are lost. 3. Proof of address, recent bills or statements confirming current residence. 4. A clear, structured plan for how potential funds would be used, especially for humanitarian or development projects. Each step is designed to demonstrate legitimacy, organization, and responsibility. According to the reports, redemption centers, if they do indeed open, will not reward those who arrive unprepared or disorganized. In fact, they may turn away applicants who can't verify their information. Documentation, the foundation of readiness. Let's start with the first pillar of readiness: documentation. Multiple analysts reportedly emphasize that documentation is the absolute foundation of the process. That means collecting and validating every piece of personal and currency-related paperwork you have. It begins with identity. Valid passports, driver's licenses, or other official IDs must be up-to-date and free of discrepancies. Even small errors, like mismatched addresses or expired dates, could trigger delays, they warn. The second part is proof of purchase. Financial authorities require a clear, traceable record of how and where the currency was obtained. This protects both the individual and the institution from allegations of money laundering or fraud. If you don't have receipts, experts suggest obtaining a notarized affidavit that clearly states when and from whom the currency was acquired, though original receipts are always preferred. And finally, proof of address. Recent documents such as utility bills or bank statements that display your name and address can satisfy this requirement. This may seem like a small detail, but it's a key component of international Know Your Customer or KYC regulations, which banks around the world must follow. All of this, analysts say, creates a transparent and verifiable identity trail, something redemption centers will require before any rate conversation even begins. Presentation and professionalism beyond paperwork. there's another layer to this process that many people overlook: presentation. According to these reports, redemption appointments, if and when they occur, will be short, secure, and highly organized. That means there may be only a brief window to make an impression, demonstrate credibility, and complete the process. Experts recommend preparing neatly labeled folders or digital files with backups, physical copies for everything, and electronic copies as redundancy. In fact, some advisors suggest that investors should rehearse a short, 2-minute summary explaining their intended humanitarian or reinvestment plans. Why? Because these plans reportedly demonstrate seriousness and alignment with the broader economic goals that contract rate programs are said to support. Remember, this isn't just about what you own. It's about how prepared and professional you appear when it counts most. The mindset factor now. Let's talk about mindset, something often underestimated, but, according to insiders, absolutely critical. Sources suggest that redemption center personnel won't just evaluate paperwork. They'll also observe behavior. Calm, professional, respectful, and composed individuals may be prioritized. Those who appear disorganized, argumentative, or overly emotional might be categorized as higher risk. That could mean being moved from the premium rate queue to the standard market rate, with no appeal. This is where preparation meets discipline. The ability to stay calm under pressure, to speak clearly and confidently, could make all the difference. So, if this process unfolds as described, remember, it's not just about the dinar in your hand. It's about the impression you make from the moment you walk through the door. Understanding NDAs and confidentiality, another recurring theme in these reports, involves non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs. Analysts say that anyone offered a premium or contract rate will almost certainly be required to sign one before finalizing the transaction. These agreements are designed to protect market stability and prevent sensitive details from being leaked. They're legally binding and serious. Breaking one could reportedly lead to severe penalties or even forfeiture of funds. If true, it means participants must be fully prepared to maintain absolute confidentiality about the process and outcome. No social media posts, no group chats, no casual discussions afterward, total silence. The lesson here is clear. If confidentiality is required, honor it completely. Choosing the right financial path, another crucial part of this conversation, involves where and with whom any potential exchanges might happen. Reports suggest that not all banks will participate equally. Tier 1 global institutions, those with strong international reach and advanced wealth management divisions, may be the ones authorized to handle specialized or premium transactions. Smaller or regional banks, while legitimate, may only be able to offer standard market rates. That's why experts stress doing careful research. Avoid any organization or individual that claims to have special access or requests that you send your currency in advance. Let me repeat that. No legitimate financial institution will ever ask you to mail your currency for pre-verification. That's the hallmark of a scam. Stay alert, stay skeptical, and always confirm through official channels. Avoiding scams and false promises. As anticipation rises, so does the risk of fraud. Scammers know how to exploit hope and urgency. They might create fake websites, impersonate bank representatives, or send official-looking emails offering exclusive appointments. These are dangerous traps. Analysts stress that legitimate redemption centers, if they open, will operate under strict verification protocols. Appointments will come through secure, traceable communication channels, not through random messages or Telegram groups. The rule of thumb: if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. The only safe path is to wait for official, verifiable announcements from credible financial authorities. Reinvestment and humanitarian planning now. Here's where the reports take an interesting turn. Many analysts claim that the contract rate option, if it truly exists, is intended for those who plan to reinvest their funds into projects that benefit communities or stimulate economic growth. That's why so many of these preparation guides encourage currency holders to develop a clear, actionable humanitarian proposal. It doesn't have to be huge. It just needs to be realistic, organized, and positive in impact. Ideas might include funding local schools, starting clean water initiatives, building health clinics, or supporting small business programs. The goal, according to these reports, is to show that you're not just looking to cash out. You're looking to build something that contributes to long-term development. A concise 2-page written plan with estimated budgets, goals, and measurable outcomes could make all the difference during an appointment. Timing and logistics. Another topic creating buzz is timing. If the reports are true, and if official notifications ever go out, appointments could be scheduled quickly and under strict timeframes. Missing a slot or arriving late could mean losing access to a preferred schedule or possibly a better rate. That's why preparedness isn't just about documents, it's about logistics. Make sure communication lines stay open, transportation is planned, and backup options are ready. Analysts even recommend having essential contact information stored both digitally and on paper, because once the process begins, every minute may count. The exchange process and what to expect. So what might an actual exchange appointment look like? Based on circulated descriptions, the entire process could take 20 to 40 minutes. Within that time, your identity is verified, your currency authenticated, documents reviewed, NDAs signed, and if eligible, rates discussed. Some participants might be escorted into separate, confidential areas for final processing. The takeaway? Walk in ready, confident, and organized. The smoother your presentation, the faster and more efficiently things can move. Post-exchange planning, protecting your future, but here's the part that too many people overlook: what happens after the exchange. Securing a premium rate is just the beginning. Managing new wealth responsibly is the real challenge. Financial professionals strongly advise building a team of experts, a tax planner to navigate legal obligations, an asset protection lawyer to set up trusts, or a certified financial advisor to design a long-term strategy for growth and security. The first 90 days after an exchange could bring volatility and regulatory changes, so organization is key. Don't let poor planning or emotional spending undermine years of patience and preparation. Security and privacy after the exchange. Lastly, let's talk about security, both personal and digital. Once a transaction is completed, discretion becomes your best protection. Avoid public discussions about your new finances. Strengthen passwords. Update digital security. Be cautious about who you share information with. Analysts stress that post-exchange safety is just as important as pre-exchange preparation. Protecting your privacy protects your future. At the end of the day, no one can say with absolute certainty how or when major currency events like this might unfold. But one thing remains true: preparation beats speculation, every single time. Whether or not these contract rate discussions lead to anything tangible, the mindset of readiness, organization, and financial literacy is valuable in any scenario. So stay informed, stay prepared, and stay grounded. I'm your host, and this has been Iraqi Dinar News Today, bringing you clarity, perspective, and insight on the stories that matter most to our community. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates, analysis, and breaking developments in the world of international currencies. Until next time, stay alert, stay smart, and stay hopeful. Disclaimer: the information provided on Iraqi Dinar News Today is for educational and informational purposes only. We do not provide financial, investment, or trading advice. All content shared on this channel is based on publicly available data and personal opinions. Viewers are advised to do their own research and consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Iraqi Dinar News Today is not affiliated with any government agency, bank, or financial institution.